Hello, everyone, and welcome to Z Talk. This is Henry Zaldivar with IT Savvy, client executive, and I'm your host today. And on the show today is Mike Brill. He's a channel manager at KnowBe4. And I think many of you out there in the cybersecurity world have heard of KnowBe4. But in case you haven't, you're going to get a good overview today of their training and what they offer. So Mike Brill is going to give a quick overview of the company in case some of you don't know who they are. And then we'll talk about the security awareness training as Mike goes into it. So Mike, thank you for joining Z Talk today. Welcome aboard the family, and the show is yours.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Henry. Thanks for the opportunity. So KnowBe4, a little bit about us. Security awareness training and simulated phishing company. We've been there. We're coming up on our 11th birthday. Kind of one of the originals in the space, I guess, if you will. Have had some really good traction, and have been growing like crazy as the need comes and arises for more and more people to get their employees with some training and some phishing exercises to help them understand what's coming through their inbox and be able to avoid clicking on any kind of problematic email such.
Awesome. So again, what I'm eager to hear about is obviously the security awareness training, and so that those that are watching can really see where this is a strong benefit. And we know, a lot of the security incidents that happen in companies, a lot happens from the inside, and there is a lot that the employees can do to help mitigate some of those risks. So jump into it and let my audience know all the things you guys do in the cybersecurity training world.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, so I guess the best way to explain it is, we have kind of a two-step process. We do a training side of the house where we'll put a campaign together and assign specific training modules to employees individually through their inbox, so they would click and go out and watch some training on our console. Depending on our subscription level, it could be anywhere from 200 to about 1,200 pieces of material at your disposal to look for. So some very specific stuff, some very broad stuff. There's very short, 3 to 5 minutes. There's some that are 45 minutes if you want to really get a deep dive into the security aspect. So that's kind of part one. We like to do that and let employees have something to stand on, I guess, if you will, when we start sending some phishing emails. So I forget the exact words, but the saying goes something along the line, you can spend $1 million on all the hardware and software you want at endpoints, but something will get through, and eventually when it does, then you've got an employee as your last line of defense, kind of like a human firewall, is like we've coined. So
right.
At that point it becomes, what does that employee do? So we put a simulated phishing email in their inbox on a regular basis based on how you'd like to see it. It could be as much as once a week, as little as once a quarter, whatever fits your culture there. So as that happens, now we get to see how employees are going to react to potential malicious emails in their inbox. And what do? Do they revert back to the training that we've given them? Do they, just click right away without hovering over links, things like that? So the idea is that two pieces together combined will give a nice combination to help change the behavior of those employees. And we have some pretty nice numbers, to show that. I think the first phishing campaign sent out about 38% click on it. That number is cut in half after the first 3 months, down to about 14%. And then it does come back at a little under 5% at the end of the year subscription. So definitely changing behaviors as far as people clicking goes.
That's cool. Then the person that manages this program for a company, so are they going to have some sort of a console or view as they push this out to their employees? Does it give like a scorecard of how each employee is doing it? Is it that granular?
Yes.
Just to kind of understand.
Yeah, so you can dig into individual employees. You can see their behavior on the console as an admin, if you have the admin view, and you're able to see exactly what they've clicked on, exactly what training material they've had, how long did it take them to complete their training. Back to the phishing, we can see if they've entered data. We can see if they've clicked on something just to open it. A lot of details about what the employees are doing from a behavior standpoint. In fact, we put all that together and create a virtual risk officer backed risk score for each person. Right. So you can always go in, kind of get a feel for that risk score to see who your higher risk employees are, to be able to go back and focus on them now versus the ones that are doing pretty good on their training and phishing.
Yeah, then work with them, give them additional training, and then kind of put them back through some areas where maybe they didn't score as well. Is that the
correct? Yeah. So we have a couple of different ways. We actually have some AI backed phishing templates able to be used. So if they fail a couple phishing templates in the past where they've clicked on thing or entered credentials, then we can assign them, more credential harvesting type phishing emails as templates and see, get them a little better at it and get them, more used to not entering any data, sort of seeing the light, if you will, on how not to.
Awesome. And of course, this fits every size company because everybody is exposed to the cybersecurity risk out there, small business, medium, large. This fits everybody, right, Mike?
Very much so, yeah. So it scales great, 25 employees all the way up to 25,000 enterprise, employees. It's really almost the same. It's just a matter of loading the employees up. We have an Active Directory sync, makes it nice and easy to sync all the employees into our console. And once you've done so, you're creating a campaign. Doesn't really matter how many people it's for. And you absolutely, some of the smaller side of the SMB, tend to think that why would they bother with me? I'm just a little guy. I don't need to, they're going to go after the big guys. Well, fortunately, the bad guys also know that the little guys don't put up as many defenses as the bigger enterprises. Right. So sometimes they tend to, focus on that size, 50 to 100 types, user accounts.
And who do you see typically that manages these type of programs in-house? Is it from the HR side or the IT side?
I think more often than not it's IT. They seem to tend to have the the bigger picture from the security standpoint, more so than the HR does. We do have some compliance modules, things like that. We just released a brand new compliance plus set of library of compliance material, which is a little outside the regular training that we have done, focusing on cybersecurity. And I believe that's getting more focus from the HR side because that's more of HR and compliance officer type material. But your average, cybersecurity type training and phishing material typically goes to the IT department.
Is that so? On the IT side, is that typically is that the CIO level, or is it the Chief Information Security Officer? Where does that fall?
It goes all the way down. I see junior, and engineers doing it as well. Usually at that higher level, it's a very easy to run console. We've done that on purpose. Knowing that IT professionals are wearing 10 hats at a time, obviously, we want to make this as easy as possible for them so they're not struggling. So it's a pretty simple to deploy kind of a console. So it does not take a computer scientist to be able to figure this out for sure.
Okay, and then when they get all the reports back, they can take it back to their executive team and kind of start dealing with, okay, here's where we stand from the inside. I know a lot of companies do penetration tests and do vulnerability tests, gap analysis, the whole 9 yards. Correct. But they don't always look as seriously from the inside. And I think this just augments all those things they do externally, or some things internally, but not from the human side, from the end user side. Is that what you're saying, that this is that complementary layer to that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, you can have as much hardware and software out there on the perimeter to cover as much. It's so much easier to just send an email, and the bad guys are good at that, right? They know what they're doing. Yeah. They watch LinkedIn, they see somebody that's new, they think, they try to do something like a CEO fraud type email. They're really good at, once they've, got you to click, they sit back and watch, and they don't exactly attack right away,
Okay, Mike, sorry, you broke up a little bit on that last segment there. What were you saying?
Sure. So, in essence, everything has been put out there. The bad guys are going to, put different kinds of things. They'll go to LinkedIn. They'll find out who's doing who's new, who's been, promoted, things like that. And then they focus and they go right to the specific person, put a really good email together, send it their way, unsuspecting. They don't know any better. Click it and, hand off the keys of the kingdom.
And I took, obviously you have, pricing there on your website. I took a look at that, and obviously I can't for the life of me figure out why companies wouldn't invest in this, given that it's not a very costly proposition to purchase this and deploy it in their companies. Any thoughts from your end, like, from that pricing perspective?
Yeah, and we do it on purpose that way, right? We don't want to make this a barrier to helping keep the company safe. So our CEO put it out there where, we picked a nice price point per seat. It's sold per seat per user for the year.
Right.
So we're able to license the entire organization. And from there, yeah, it's almost a no-brainer in most cases. Whatever it would cost to do this, is easily less than what it could cost with some kind of a breach or compromise.
For sure. It's like a very cheap insurance policy, or one of the many insurance policies.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's the other thing. I'm glad you brought up insurance, because there are some very big changes in the cyber insurance policies going on out there right now, literally in the last couple of weeks after the Colonial Pipeline. So,
Mhm.
anybody that has a cyber policy, I would recommend double checking and taking a look just to make
Yeah,
sure. A lot of them are taking out the payment if there is a human error involved. So that being the case, having that shoring of that up with some KnowBe4 training and phishing will certainly help out from that from that liability standpoint.
that's awesome. Then, for the viewers to know that if you do go online to the website and you see their price, and that is the list price, but obviously, come to me here at IT Savvy, and obviously we'll work out a nice discount for you and get you all set up. Mike, thank you very much. Obviously, we wanted to keep this, informative, but in a short format.
Sure.
To everybody know, what KnowBe4 brings, to the table here at a high level. And obviously, if anybody wants a deeper dive, and Mike has some beautiful PowerPoints and dashboards and things that he can show you. So if you want to see more, hear more, and know more, reach out to me, and then I'll get a hold of Mike here, my friend over here in Clearwater, Florida. I'm in Miami, he's in Clearwater, and we'll be glad to work with you and get you all set up. So Mike, again, thank you for coming on today and giving us a good look at KnowBe4, and hopefully we can help a lot of companies out there.
Yes, I agree. Hopefully we can help a lot. Thank you, Henry. I appreciate the
All right.
opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Take care.